All right, Peyton, our man, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How y'all?
Man, we are fantastic. Anytime we get to talk college baseball with elite athletes, it's always a good night. But, before we get into your story, before we get into college baseball, right now, man, MLB playoffs are going on right now. Have you by chance been watching?
We get in a group. We'll either play poker or just get together and we'll watch the games, and it's been pretty electric for sure.
All right, so since you brought up poker and we're talking about this, if you had to lay your money down on a team right now to win it all, who you going with?
I got to go with the Phillies.
There you go. There you
Got to go
go.
with
I
the
mean,
Phillies.
they're hot. Like
You can't beat a hot team. I mean, we ran into TCU last year, and they probably could have beat any team in the playoffs right now. So,
Bro, true story.
being a hot
I'm
team.
gonna tell you why y'all lost to TCU because we had three of their players come on post Omaha or post the regionals. Anyway, they said it was that IHOP breakfast they ate that morning. They all had big plates. They actually did what you're not supposed to do. Big unhealthy plates of breakfast, and then Trey Richardson said he even got a second plate, and that's exactly why he hit 3 home runs. So
Whatever they were doing was working.
yo, yeah. For anybody listening out there, go hit up a IHOP. I mean, it's not something I would do, make my stomach hurt, but
Yeah.
to each their own. But so let me ask you, man, if you had a talk show like we got, and you can have on any guest you want, and it doesn't even have to be an athlete, celebrity. Who do you want on your show?
Oh, are we talking sports or are we just talking?
Anything you want.
Man, I got to go with Joe Rogan. He has some
Wow.
crazy just crazy thoughts that go through his head. I watched a few videos of his, and it's pretty cool to listen to.
So you're just gonna shove me in the mud by going after the best podcast there is and say that
I mean,
okay.
I mean, you
Number
Oh,
one
said
out
pick the
there.
best.
I mean, you could have. I mean, golly, that's not where I thought you was gonna go, but it's all right. I'm gonna bounce back. All right. So you and the boys are going to sing karaoke. Everybody has to sing. You don't have a choice, even if you have the worst voice in the world. We
Oh
push you
no,
up on stage. What song are you choosing to make it through?
dude, that's a solid question. I don't. I feel like Ice Ice Baby is just the pretty easy.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
you ain't got to sing that much. You
I
just
like
you
that.
just you just got the lyrics, and they're pretty straightforward.
The most solid answer that I usually hear is somebody will say something that's wildly popular. That way the crowd will take over so they can't hear. So especially
That's a
like
good.
our last Tennessee guest was like, I'll just go Rocky Top, and then he's like, they'll take over. I won't even have to sing anymore after
True,
that.
true.
So it's
That's a
like,
good
yeah.
point.
So I for me, I'm gonna go like Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks because everybody will sing with me. I'll be
Yeah,
good
that's
to go.
that's that's a
I
solid
got
one.
I did some homework, Jim. You gave me and I had to think. And I think the only time I've done karaoke, and Peyton's like so young, like he's never even probably heard this song, but Beastie Boys, Paul Revere.
Paul Revere, I know the Beastie Boys, Sabotage. Yeah, my dad made
There
me
you go.
listen to that
There you
stuff.
go. You're like, yeah, I'm
Oh
the same
yeah,
age as your
Do
dad.
you
Probably.
think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can handle
So
doing Beastie Boys though, man? You got to
I could
break
do
like
Beastie
you
Boys.
have to
I could
have
do
energy.
Paul Revere. I
Well, no,
could do
I
Paul
Paul
believe you,
Revere,
Revere,
Peyton. I'm
but
talking about Chris. Chris, do you have the
Paul,
oh,
dude,
energy?
this is how old I am. Paul Revere got released when I was like in fifth grade, bro. And that thing, obviously in the tape, Peyton doesn't know what a tape is, but the tape, I got Paul Revere on lock, bro.
That actually shows because he brought up Sabotage. Sabotage came out ironically, no joke, because you said that came out when I was in fifth grade because I had the CD. So that shows because there's obviously the years gap between me and you that they were putting out albums. What we say we got like 8 years between us or something. So yeah, there was
Yeah.
still
Come on,
killing
man. I did it like this. I did it like that. I did it with a wiffle ball bat. Come
it.
on.
All right, this is the fun one, Peyton, man.
all right.
Growing up, who was your biggest celebrity crush?
Oh, dude, prime Megan Fox. I mean, Transformers. You can't beat it.
Okay.
You can't beat that.
Okay. That's solid.
That's
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 solid.
Yeah. No issues here at all. All
no.
right. This one gotta know, man. Favorite athlete all time.
All time. That's uh man. I gotta go with LeBron James.
Oh, see now because
I
what you
know
did was
y'all
no,
are,
you messed with her
y'all,
age.
y'all are
Yeah.
y'all are probably like big MJ guys.
So this
Yeah.
show started we started the show before we started interviewing college athletes. We were just messing around during COVID. And this all started off The Last Dance was how we started this show. We were huge MJ guys. So yeah, we
Yeah.
take major offense.
Man, I mean, if I got to watch MJ play and how he played and carried, I mean, he'd be my favorite. But I know growing up, I just got to watch LeBron go through the league, and
You could
I
at
mean,
least say you could at least say Kobe.
him too. I mean, but I really enjoyed watching LeBron play, and then what he did. So, but yeah, I mean, I have to go with him.
Maybe Chris will bail you out because I'm going to ask Chris the same question. Even though he's a host, he's still a guest, so he hadn't answered this question. Chris might bail you out with a worse answer. Who's your favorite athlete all time?
I'd probably go MJ. Yeah,
There we go.
I divided out by sports though too, and I went through different phases. So I had like a different guy growing up, and then in college when I was Peyton's age, watching baseball, I would have to say Pedro just because I like to watch him pitch. I was never as good as him, but I'm like, God, I could watch Pedro pitch and Maddox, Smoltz, that whole crew. But then later on, I would say I like Brady and Breeze a lot too. I got to where I just like guys that won. I just want to see, the older I got, the less team. I mean, I saw favorite teams, but then I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to sit down and watch somebody, I want to see winners and dudes who are going to put eyeballs on the TV. So it just kind of transitioned throughout different phases of sports.
Well, you know how I'm a diehard Saints fan, but growing up, my dad couldn't get me to watch the Saints for the obvious reason, right? They were atrocious.
They're horrible.
And I have 3 straight yearbook pictures where I'm wearing my Dan Marino jersey because I was rooting for Dan, because the Saints weren't going to do it. What's funny is you said titles, and Dan still didn't get one, but he was slinging the ball around the yard.
You could do that.
Peyton, since we just went there and went multiple sports, I am curious. I mean, you are a baseball player. Who's your favorite baseball player all time?
All time, man, I grew up a Yankee fan watching Jeter play.
Chris, you can't be mad at that answer, Chris.
I will say this. I will say the older I hate the Yankees and I hated Jeter. But then later on, right as he was getting out, I was like, you know what? I respect that dude. I just done, and I got to appreciate him, but I was more of a
You
Red
hated
Sox
him
guy.
just because he won. He didn't have any antics to make him not likable.
Look, there's dudes that play college baseball where if they were on my team, they'd be great. I just don't like Jeter. I wouldn't.
Are we referencing Tommy Hawk again?
Maybe. Peyton doesn't know what's going on, but I can respect Jeter. I mean, he seems like he's a good dude. I can respect that.
Played the game the right way. That's kind of just
facts. Yeah. I'm gonna give you that.
Right. Well, in order to get to talking about how you played the game right way, we got to take it back to the beginning, man. So, Peyton, where are you from?
I'm from Greenwood, Arkansas. Small town.
Yeah, we got a Greenwood, Mississippi. It's very small. I'm thinking Greenwood across every southern state's probably a small.
Yeah, that's probably a trend for sure.
All right, so in this small town, man, what's the family dynamics? You got brothers, sisters, you got full household, or just you? What's up?
So I got 2 younger brothers. One's a freshman, pitches at a JUCO in Oklahoma, and then a younger brother that's a freshman in high school who he's a catcher. He plays all 3 sports, and then I got mom and dad at home.
So with these younger brothers, man, other than pounding on them from time to time, did you help mentor them and help make them better baseball players?
I feel like pounding on them from time to time also helps do that too, but yeah, for sure. That was just, I kind of had to grow into that, being that mentor. It's tough as a brother, but once you kind of mature and you see that their potential and how much they look up to you, it's pretty easy to just, help guide them. And my youngest brother is going to be, you'll probably hear his name in the upcoming years. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's what actually right where I was fixing to go. A lot of times we have athletes on here who are the younger sibling, and while their older sibling might have been good, they were better, and a lot of times they attribute it to their older brother, their dad, and just those who poured into them. So yeah, iron sharpens iron. When you got a family full of athletes and that help mold each other, it can only make you better for sure. And the beatings along the way, of course.
Oh yeah.
So with that, growing up in Greenwood, where'd you go to high school?
So it's just Greenwood High School. I went there. Connor Nolan, either.
Mm-mm.
He pitched here 2 or 3 years ago. I went to high school with him, and just was there from 8th grade up.
So before I get into baseball, in high school, there's a note in there that you played football. I always like to ask this question because we get some guys in here, the baseball players, and come out and talk about they were badass at football. And then some just keep it real. They're like, man, I just played to play. So where do you fall?
I mean, I'd be wrong to tell you I was a pretty badass at it. I mean, it is Arkansas football, and you kind of know how that is. But I mean, I was good. I played slot, and then I played quarterback my senior year, which I was just the guy that ran around like Manziel and then tried to find the open guy.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, we're going to get into the baseball, like I said, and baseball was clearly your better sport. But we have guys like, for instance, using a baseball guy from Arkansas, Connor Nolan always said he enjoyed Friday Night Lights. And obviously he went to Arkansas hoping to play both, but he enjoyed the Friday Night Lights more, even though he was better at baseball. Was playing football something that you maybe enjoyed more, but just wasn't what you were better at?
Actually, yeah. I mean, just the energy that comes with the Friday Night Lights, like the fans, just it's kind of a momentum game, and it's a lot of fun. You play with a lot of emotion in football. You can't really do that with baseball. You can get into baseball, but you have to play pretty even kill to like play at your best. In football, you can ride the emotion a lot, and that's what was more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, no doubt. So, I mean, ranked the number one shortstop and the number four overall prospect in Arkansas by perfect game, number 74 shortstop nationally, number 379 overall prospect, according to perfect game. So, when you read off something like that, obviously you got to be starting getting recruited at an early age. Around what time did you start having colleges pursue you?
So that was before the rule change where they're not allowed to talk to them until junior year, I think now.
Right.
So I was getting some calls freshman year, and then sophomore year I got my first official offer, and then I ended up only getting like four or five throughout the rest of my high school career.
Why do you think being the number one shortstop in the state, do you think that that's maybe the lack of belief in Arkansas's baseball? I mean, because when you say number one in anything, it feels
Yeah,
like four or five answers or offers just ain't it.
man. I mean that. Uh, I'll be honest. I would say I was pretty small. Like I'm 5'9", but I wasn't as like filled in. Like I mean, I was kind of scrawny. I mean, so I feel like I had something to do with it. I didn't get looks from bigger schools. I got some mid major and then some smaller D1s, and so I feel like that played a part. And then I wasn't ready to play Division I baseball. If I'm going to be honest, I mean, I needed to go where my my journey took me.
Yeah, no doubt. We have a lot of guys say that, and be careful with the small thing. That's why I honestly think Chris doesn't like Tommy Hawk, which we were referencing earlier. Because Tommy Hawk's only 5'6" on a good day. And so he makes like a leaping catch, and Chris makes sure to let me know that a normal sized guy would have just been able to stand there and
Yeah,
catch
no,
it.
I wash,
I
Peyton.
hear
I
it.
wash. I wash. That's no, Peyton.
I hear it all
I
the time.
I appreciate that honesty though, because some guys, it's and my son played 2 years of Division III football, and he ended up quitting last year and just transferred back to LSU, and that's where we live. But for you to say, look, I needed to go to JUCO, and
Yeah,
said that's what fit my plan, my path. That was what's best for me. Because you know how some guys are, right? It's Division I or bust, and they won't take anything, especially in college baseball. They have so many quote unquote mid majors that are D1. They just won't look at them unless it's Arkansas or LSU. And that's not what's best for their development.
yeah.
So that's really refreshing to hear. So I guess I'll kind of take Jim's question before you handed it off to me. But why Crowder? Was there something specific about Crowder that turned you onto them, or?
Well, that so my actual journey started. I committed to Lafayette when Robichaux was there,
Okay, ULL. Yep, yep.
and so the summer I was supposed to go down there. I'm down there for freshman. Like they go down, and he passed away,
Yeah.
and so it was like a big discussion. Like, should we like take the risk and go because they're bringing a new coach? And I ended up going to UL for the fall,
Okay.
and Coach Deggs cut about like a third of the team, and then brought in guys that he wanted to bring in that semester. So once I got cut, I called my parents first, and then called my summer coach, and I had a visit with Crowder that weekend. Flew back home, drove up to Crowder, uh, fell in love with just how they go about their business. I mean, the facility, like it's a JUCO, like it's not anything great, but I mean, it was enough to get to work and just get back on my path. And The coaches there did a really good job, and so that's why I chose Crowder.
Interesting. This is going to be a side note. This wasn't in the notes, but since you brought it up, and Jim knows, he knows so many people, and I have some friends whose sons play Division I baseball, just like you, just somewhere else in the country. But can you talk a little bit about the transfer portal and, like you said, how they cut people, and just maybe give fans some insight into the fact that we didn't have that when I went to school. It wasn't even close to that, but just the stress and how things change almost on a semester to semester basis. And just talk a little bit about that and just your thoughts on it, good, bad, and different, because
Okay.
obviously it affected you, I'm just
Yeah.
curious about that.
So I would say currently it's more like a business now. I mean, it's like pro ball. You have guys that are like free agents. They can just enter the portal, and it's pretty much like an auction. Whatever, with all the NIL money that everyone has now, it's like, okay, we'll pay you this amount and give you a scholarship, and then other schools can see their offer and either match it or give them more. And it's pretty much like an auction for like players now. And so like they can go into the portal and they have schools calling them, and they just choose whatever school that they want to go to that's paying them however much they want. And I mean, for it's nice that college athletes are getting paid now, but I think it's kind of ruining the aspect of recruiting, because
Mhm.
a lot of schools are just gonna stop recruiting freshmen. They'll just get a couple freshmen that they think will come and make a difference, and then uh, they'll pick guys out of the portal. And I feel like it's going to send a lot more people to JUCO than in the past. I mean, a lot of people would just go to a D1, be there for a year, either redshirt or just try and get better and get some ABs. And then, but now it's like, if you're not going to go start, it's better to go JUCO, because they're bringing in so many guys through the portal.
Yeah, Chris, and think about this. I sent you a message in our group. Peyton, this isn't just synonymous, obviously, with baseball, and he was talking about his son with football. My daughter was really wanting to play SEC soccer. She's a senior. She's been getting offers, and I told Chris, I said, I'm so glad that she didn't get an offer from LSU, for instance, which was her top school, because she never would have got off the bench. And we ain't going to college to sit on the bench. That's not what we're doing. And so she's a little disappointed. She's either going to be picking from one of these lower D1s or better D2 or D3. And it's like, but you're going to get to play. Like, I just don't think she gets it. She sees the glam of the school and thinks that's where she want to be. But once you sit on that bench for long enough, you're like, man, I made the wrong decision.
For sure. I feel like a lot of kids are like going to schools for the title, for the jersey, like what's on the front. But really, if I could give any advice to like younger kids that are trying to make that decision, it'd be to go play, get better, develop your tools. And because once you do that, you're going to get picked by either the same school or a better school, and you're going to go there and you're going to actually play and make a difference.
I mean, more than half the guests we've had on the show, Chris, went through a JUCO or a D2 and then ultimately ended up drafted. I mean, so some, even first, second round picks. Like, so this whole idea that, oh, you can't start that route, facts and evidence say differently.
Yeah, I mean, just the way it is now. A lot of times, that's like Gervais a couple years ago, right? I think he came from a D3, and then
Tyler College D3, and then
yeah,
he ended up going. No, he went to JUCO after. He went D3 to JUCO to LSU, and it was actually that summer in the Cape he was with
yeah,
Beloso and got
yeah.
noticed.
It's crazy just how that stuff works. But let's get back to you, Peyton, and your path. So you had a COVID year in 2020, which was short, and I think you only played 17 games at Crowder. Then you had 2021, and then 2022 at Crowder. So through 2 full seasons and shortened COVID, you batted even 400 with 23 bombs, 151 RBIs. Good Lord, man. That's amazing. And 163 runs. And the other thing I found out, Jim didn't have in his stats, but I looked it up because I was looking at your stats from Arkansas. You were 35 of 38 in stolen bases in JUCO. So very impressive. Obviously, you can run, and you were a slot guy, like you said. So just talk to us a little bit about what you learned while you were at Crowder, what you worked on, how your game developed, and just how you felt about your success at that level.
So I think the main thing that I developed at Crowder was like defense and like footwork, and like how to go approach a ground ball like coming in or like a backhand. Because like in high school, you really just taught like get in front of the ball, field it, and throw it. And I just was good enough at that to like make a difference. But once I got to that JUCO, Coach Lallman did a really good job teaching us like the footwork and all the aspects of infield that make you a top tier infielder. Hitting wise, you know, the hitting coach did a really good job with approaches, and a lot of JUCOs are just like trying to like hit bombs and stuff, and like we really focus on, you know, working gap to gap, and we would watch film and like go through approaches, which is I feel like it's kind of rare at some I mean, most JUCOs you're not really going over approaches with like two strikes, what you're supposed to do, like shoot the fastball, you know, foul or whatever, and just be on the off speed, or, you know, just different things with different guys. And I think that really helped me like develop my own approach that I use now. And so I think that really was beneficial for me to go there and get to like learn the approach. Because like at Lafayette, it was really just like we're just doing drills, and if you could hit, you could hit. If you couldn't, then you were left out from to fend for yourself.
Yeah, we recruited you to you could hit. That's why we recruited you. And so
Yeah.
when you get here, we're not going to. Yeah, that's kind of. I've heard some programs like that, a little bit of backwards way of thinking. But obviously, with all that success at Crowder, and I have a theory. You lived an hour. I looked it up. So Crowder is an hour north of Fayetteville. You grew up an hour south of Fayetteville. So I just think you like to stay within an hour of Fayetteville. Personally, I just don't think you like to go outside that radius.
Yeah.
No, but is there anybody else that recruited you out of Crowder besides Arkansas? Were you looking anywhere else, or were you?
There were a few schools. I mean, I had a couple Power Five offers, and then I had a few mid major. But when after talking to like Coach Thompson, and you know, just being close to home, what they were uh, offering me and everything, and so I was just like, yeah, I mean, I want to be a Hog. I've always wanted to be since I was 4 or 5.
Yeah,
and it's hard not to want to be a Hog growing up an hour away from Fayetteville.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Obviously, so you get to Arkansas. Look, I'm an LSU fan, but I'm jealous of those facilities in terms of the stadium. It's an amazing environment. Obviously, LSU travels up there. I know Jim's probably going to be there. He sent us a schedule. I think he's already making the trip, but who knows? I may show up there. But when you look at the facilities, some of the best in the country, the fans, etc. So was it more exciting for you or a little overwhelming when you walk onto campus, you walk into that first team meeting, you go on the field, you're like, damn, I'm here. Like I'm here. So how did you, how did those first couple of weeks go?
It was kind of surreal. I mean, I've dreamt about that for a long time. And the first week, it was like I wasn't actually there. Like I didn't feel like it was just kind of like a weird experience because I mean, I actually got to be a part of it. And so like I would go through the facilities and like just in awe of everything. That was actually my first time going through the facilities was my first week there. I didn't get a visit or anything.
Wow.
And so like I was just taking it all in, and it kind of didn't even feel like I was like there. It was weird. But once I got used to it, it was just like, wow, I made it here, and it's been a ride for sure.
Chris, I've been
Yeah.
in all the baseball weight rooms. Arkansas has it. Number one. It's not even a question.
Peyton, you'll have y'all's own baseball specific weight rooms by the stadium.
We do.
Is it out there in right field of that new facility?
Yeah,
I guess
it's in the new building in right field. It's like right we walk out the locker room, and there's our like nutrition center, and then it's right on the other side of that.
It's it just means more, right? I mean, Ole Miss new stuff, LSU has their stuff in house now. Yeah, the facilities. I mean, think about where you came from at Crowder, right?
Yeah,
JUCO.
yeah.
People don't know what JUCO
We
is.
were working out on the YMCA right off campus.
Raking the dirt after the
Well,
games, right?
you
You
think
got to do your own
about
field maintenance.
you think about what Skeens told us, Chris, right? At Air Force, he was like, "Man, they didn't invest any money in Air Force." He's like, "We didn't even have a good set of weights, like, let alone a nutritionist."
I know. So it's good. I mean, y'all deserve all that stuff. There's no doubt about it. But last year you slashed 392, 489, and 581 was your slash line. So really on par with what you did in JUCO. So obviously, once you got used to everything, you figured out where you fit in. You saw the competition. You made it through fall. You know, did you have a plan in terms of your first year at Arkansas? Did you obviously you're gonna have high expectations for yourself. Did you think you would have that much success in the SEC? You know, because you did in 31 games and 31, I think 31 games you played, 19 games started. I mean, to hell, they hit 392. That's fabulous. You know what I mean?
And I mean, you always have that confidence like for yourself. After the fall, I had a rough fall, and I was just like, man, I'm just hoping to get some opportunities to play and just be a part of the team. I was just going to be the best teammate I could be, and then got some playing time. I did okay. You know, they were mostly midweek games. I got a few weekend starts, and then once I started starting in the SEC play, uh, the first weekend at Mississippi State, it was kind of like nerve wracking. I mean, first SEC start, like this is what it's about. This is why I came here. And so like I didn't do great that weekend, but once we got in the groove, like I started getting comfortable playing with the guys, like for like it was fun. So I finally got in that groove, and yeah, I mean I wouldn't say I was overly confident. I went out there and played as hard as I could, and that's all I could do, and everything else just would fall into place.
Yeah, I mean it's really quick on the stolen bases. So you were 6 out of 6 this past year for Arkansas. Like I said, you were 35 of 38 in JUCO. So is that something that's always been part of your game? I mean, look, they had Hosenberg, I think had like 13, and then had a couple guys with 7 this past year for Arkansas, and you were right there with 6, and you had like less 100 less at bats than Josenberger. So I mean, obviously you would have more probably stolen bases. So is that something you pride yourself on? We're going to see more of that this year from you.
I learned to steal bags really well at JUCO. That was one thing that the Coach Lallman did a really good job was teaching how to teach and base running. And Coach Van Horn does a really good job of it as well. It's just coming from a JUCO, like you kind of already had that tool in my bag. And, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a big part of my game. Some of those are delay steals that are really hard to defend. They're almost automatic stolen bags, and so for the most part, I try to steal when I know I can get there. I don't. There's some times where I read the catcher signs. I can get like I can peek. I'm just trying to play the game within the game,
Gotcha.
like stealing in counts, certain counts, like 0-2, you're expecting like a breaking ball, but I mean, I'm gonna try and steal a lot this year just because it's really beneficial to take away that force out
Yeah.
and get a runner at second with less than two is big,
We're
especially in
we're
this.
jealous, Peyton. We don't steal at LSU, man. Me and Chris get frustrated.
I think it's going to change this year. I think it's going to change a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
We'll
heard
have
that
to
last
see.
year too, bro. I believe when I see it.
I think Jay. Well, yeah, last year when you hit 144 home runs, I don't
Yeah, I
think you
don't. You
need
don't
to.
got to steal that many bags.
Yeah, it's all right. So Peyton, look, you only had 2 errors last season. Was there any added pressure? Coming to Arkansas, playing in the middle infield, coming from guys that were previously there, like Robert Moore. Obviously, Stovall was there, and he's still there, obviously. But any pressure playing up the middle over there?
Man, the two errors were actually in the same game against Louisiana Tech, and I wouldn't say there's pressure. I mean, we're there for a reason.
Yeah.
We're all there's obviously different levels of skill, but we're all there for a reason. So I don't think the pressure is that overwhelming. I mean, you either let it get to you or you don't, and I feel like for the most part, I did a pretty good job. Keeping a level head with the nerves and everything, and coach expects us to play defense. We work on it every day. And
Right.
so every when you work on it that much, almost every play seems routine. And obviously you have the ones that are diving that you either make the play or it's not an error. So those are pretty much win-win.
Well, the
And
reason
so
I put that in, the reason I put that in there, Chris, is because that was what a lot of the Arkansas fan base's biggest question was, because when you have Jalen Battles and Robert Moore in the middle infield, the best middle infield,
yeah,
undoubtedly,
Yeah.
your big question is going to be the guys replacing them, right? It's not Peyton or them's fault. It's just that's natural, right? When you lose two
yeah.
dudes like that, you worry about, is your middle infield going to be sharp like it was?
Yeah, all that early work paying off, man. But kind of wrapping up here on your year last year. So, you kind of got on a bit of a heater. Like you said, you started starting some games, getting confident and feeling comfortable in SEC play against Carolina, Vanderbilt, LSU or A&M, and then going into the regional. So I guess you had a little bit of injury heading into the regional. So what was that like? What happened there, and how did you come out of it, going into the summer?
Okay. So it was my rib that connects to my back would pop out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it would pop out, and it started the beginning of the Vandy series, and I would just have to get it set. Like they go, like I'd lay on my back or on my stomach, and they'd set my back, and I'd have to get it once or twice a game, just set.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so we were doing that Vandy so for like 3 or 4 weeks, and we came back to the regional, and like it was still bothering me. And first game, it was the last inning or second to last. It was the eighth, and got up to bat, pulled a ball. I lined out, and when I swung, it popped out, and it like fully popped out, and the muscles around it spasm and locked up, and like I could barely breathe, like couldn't get off the field, like it was bad, and so it took me 2 weeks to be able to fully have mobile, like move around without it hurting. And so the whole summer I really didn't lift like a lot of heavy weights. It was mainly like doing stuff to limber me up, doing yoga, like mobility, just a bunch of that to like try and prevent it. And it'll bother me every now and again, but for the most part, we've kept it, you know, pretty minimal.
Bro, Chris, he could have played for my team any day because if it happened during Vandy, that means he then went and played LSU and A&M and had multi-hits while he had that sticking out his back. That's a fact.
I can't imagine swinging with that injury. Just all the
Yeah.
torque and the twisting. I mean, is that how you heard it? Was swinging?
Yeah, that's what they think. It was just from swinging a lot, and I made a makeshift mouthpiece out of some tape, and I would wear it at the plate, so just for the pain. I mean, because like I didn't want to come out, man. I can't.
I'm getting a bigger fan by the second, bro.
He had that football mentality. Bro.
I still have it. I still have it in my locker, you know, just to like look at, you know, remember like that. I went through that.
They say baseball ain't got tough guys, man. Come check out our guy Peyton.
Plenty of them.
So, you know, let's get into fall ball, man. I want to start with making you wait a second, Peyton. I'm going to get you a scouting report. Chris was at LSU fall ball this week. Chris, man, for the listeners, Arkansas, SEC, you know, obviously we have fan base involved. Tell us what you saw out there from the defending national champions.
Yeah. So full disclaimer, I've only made one scrimmage. So they've had like 5 or 6. So I was out there Sunday, and Saturday is for the boys, but Sunday at LSU is apparently for the lefties because I saw 5 of them throw, and they still have 4 more that I didn't see throw. So LSU has a plethora of lefties, and that kind of goes along with, you know, Nate Yeske coming from A&M to LSU last year. I think A&M, God, they must have had 12 lefties that felt like they ran out there over a weekend. Yeah. LSU's got a ton of lefties, some experience, you know. I don't know, Arkansas has got a big time lefty who's a freshman over there right now, but I know LSU's got Cam Johnson. So he was at IMG last year, and I said he was 95 from the left, funky delivery. He bumped 98, and I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But so it was just a miserable day out there. The wind was blowing in from left center about 10 to 15 miles an hour. So the pitchers dominated. From a hitting side, it's going to look vastly different, I think, than what fans saw last year, right? There's no – Jim and I were talking before we got on the mics with Peyton. You know, 6 out of the 8 guys that started that College World Series national championship game are gone from the lineup, you know. So obviously Tommy White's sitting out this fall as his shoulder gets healthy. But it's going to be – I think they're going to run kind of like Peyton likes to do, you know, and Arkansas is probably going to do a little more of this year as well. I don't know how much power – they're going to have some power, obviously, but it's not going to be 144 home runs worth. So it's going to be – you know, they're not going to bunt. I can't really see LSU bunting, but you may see more hit and run, more doubles, maybe more manufacture. But as we discussed, Jim, I think their pitching is going to be more settled at the beginning of the year, whereas last year you had Skeens and then you had, we don't know, because Ty Floyd was good. He was still up and down. And you had some guys kind of emerge, and then like Shores and Edwards got hurt. And then you're like, who else do we have? And it was just kind of until they figured out towards the end of the SEC play, you didn't really know. Where Arkansas, look, we all know who they have. I mean, those dudes are established, and they're dudes. They're absolute dudes. And Peyton could tell us more about them. Some of the best in the country. LSU is just going to look different, but I think their pitching is definitely going to be their strength of the staff this year.
Yeah, I'm going to be down there. Obviously, like I said, I'll meet you for the Lafayette double exhibition. Went and checked out Ole Miss last weekend. I'm going to check out Mississippi State this weekend, obviously, because those are the close destinations. These guys decide they want to play their fall World Series on like Monday and stuff. Like we can just get away Monday during the day to come watch you guys. Peyton, thanks a lot, bro.
Is that for the scouts or something? What are y'all doing on them? What's Coach Van Horn doing on a Monday?
It's a great question. I don't know.
Well, before I let you talk,
at what, noon?
Yeah, it was at noon.
That's what I was saying.
Y'all on fall break?
That's the only reason.
Fall break.
That's the only reason he was able to do this podcast tonight. Otherwise, if they would have been playing tonight, he wouldn't be here.
That's why Van Horn scheduled it now, because they're on fall break. So he don't want those dudes heading to the beach or something or doing something crazy, I guess. I don't know. So that's why. There you go. That's what coaches do, bro.
They know. They're smart.
Well, before we let him talk to us about Arkansas, I do want to say, like I said, because we got an audience from the SEC, Ole Miss, man. I watched some fall ball last year, and it kind of matched with the last place team that we saw. Did not see that. I've been 4 times now, watched 2 exhibitions against Jacksonville State. You got to remember Rivas and Sanye were freshmen last year, asked to do a lot. They looked really good. So now they got that experience. You got JT Quinn, you got Riley Maddox back from injury. So you got a lot more arms, a lot more experience. You got Leger coming back. You got Groff in center field. So I expect those to be your 2 leaders. So, Luke Hill transferred over from Arizona State. So
Baton kid.
So they got some talent. And like I told you before the show, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to come out and compete with Arkansas to win the West, but they're definitely not going to be at the bottom. If I was to make a prediction now, they're going to finish somewhere in the middle, just based upon what I've seen through 2 inter squads and 2 exhibitions. But like I said, I saw them last fall, and it kind of matched up with what I saw in the season. So I feel like they've definitely gotten better going in this season, and the chemistry will only build. So, as we know it, as we give Peyton a chance to talk about Arkansas, the West is going to be what it always is, right, Chris? It's going to be a freaking gauntlet.
No doubt. And, and Peyton can speak to that too. But I think Arkansas, I haven't done a deep dive, and you're seeing these teams in person. But if I had to guess, just off what's returning, I mean, it's Arkansas, LSU, I think. Then I think Ole Miss and State's they're going to be able to absolutely swing it this year. They got a ton of dudes back, and can they pitch? And then I think A&M takes a step back, and Auburn and Alabama. Alabama was my surprise pick last year. A lot of people clown me for them, but they did really well. But they lost.
Absolutely clowned you.
I told y'all, everybody laughed at me.
But here's what I'll say on Arkansas, Chris. The 3 best returning pitchers in the SEC, 2 of them are from Arkansas, with Hagen Smith and Brady Tiger. And for that reason alone, you're starting off just that much better than everybody else.
Go ahead, Peyton. You can take it away. Just talk about maybe how the fall is shaping up, how the World Series is shaping up, and then just obviously what you think the outlook is for the team,
I kind of don't want to talk to him about fall or the World Series anymore after what I saw today. I messaged him right after. I'm disgusted.
It wasn't anything special. I mean, we split
2-1.
They ended in a tie, bro. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's
we got a winner take all tomorrow, so hopefully that's better than a tie. Hopefully
there's no ties in baseball. What are y'all doing?
I know. It was a pitching thing. They didn't want to finish it today. It was just
no. Chris's answer to me was logical. It still wasn't acceptable though, man. Somebody's got to win. I'll stay there all night.
They only got so many arms they can use. Probably that's probably what it is.
Yeah, that's what it came down to. But I mean, football's going good. We got a lot of transfers. I mean, we lost a lot of guys.
No doubt.
We got 2 or 3. We have 3 transfer. Our whole outfield's going to be new. We lost Wagner, Josenberger, and Barofen. They were dudes. So replacing them's going to be pretty tough. We got Diggs who will play right. He's looking good. We got a kid who probably, other than Enrique, is one of the best center fielders I've seen at tracking down balls. Left field's kind of up in the air. Infield is we're going to be good in the infield. We got some guys that can swing it and field it. Pitching, I think our pitching's going to be unreal. Hagen threw one time this fall. Like they've just kind of kept him, he's just been training. He came out and pitched an inning, K'd the side, and I think 12 pitches, hit 100. So
hit 100?
Yeah, he hit 100. It was
wow. That's a serious velo ball.
Look. Let me tell you, overreaction, Chris. Peyton was talking about the TCU game, right? The overreaction to like Hagen Smith isn't like still like a top 10 guy because he had one bad game against a red hot team. It was crazy how many people jumped off the Hagen train. Like, he wasn't that dude. And I'm like, that's just going to make him even next year. He's ready now.
Oh, it's it's been pretty fun to watch him throw. I got to stand in one of his bullpens. I mean, his splitter's sitting at like 92, 93. It's unreal.
Has he always had that? I thought he was like fastball slider guy. He's always had that split.
I don't know. I mean, he has like 5 different pitches now. I will be able to say for the rest of my life though, I did hit a bomb off him last fall.
There you go.
But that's what makes you guys the best, Peyton. I mean, you're talking about facing this guy. Obviously, you said it's just one time, but obviously you got to do it last year. I mean, that's SEC within itself, right? Like when you get to go through inter squads and face best on best, like it prepares you for everything you got coming ahead. Especially if you're facing Brady Tiger and he's got all 3 pitches on. Good luck.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, facing those two you're facing the best of the best. We got some freshman arms that should help us out. Hunter Dietz, he pitched today. Gabe Gackle pitched today. They're two of the ones that stand out to me that are really going to help.
What about Gage Wood? How's he look?
He looks good. He's been throwing really well. He kind of had like a slow start coming back after the summer, but the past 3 outings he's been pretty electric, and he's going to be another attribute to that staff. I mean, the whole staff's good. We got guys that are going to help.
Is McIntyre still there?
Yeah, he's there. He's still here. He threw today. He did pretty good.
Crafty righty.
Yeah, crafty. I mean, really
crafty rider those like 92.
He knows how to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris said it to me before the show, Peyton. We know pitching wise in the SEC, it's not debatable. Arkansas has the most talent. So it's going to be about, you talked about losing all those guys in the outfield, and obviously those guys are in the lineup. It's all going to be about that lineup, right? Like, so, who are the guys? Obviously you were mentioning it, but like in the lineup specifically, not just out in the field, who are guys that you feel like are going to step up and really take on those roles, be integral parts of the lineup?
Man, we got a bunch of dudes that can hit.
You can say yourself. It's all right. Just say me.
I mean, not just me. I mean, not even just me. Like I would say there's at least 15 guys that can just flat out hit. Wow. And it's gonna be tough for some guys to like find a spot because like there's so many guys that can hit, and like we have 4 catchers right now, and they're all, I mean, raking. They're all probably batting 250, 300 right now, just finding barrels. Diggs is just a pure hitter. We have transfer from Tarleton, Jack Wagner. He's a professional. He had a
bomb hitter today. I seen that video.
Yeah, he went 3 for 3 today with a bomb. He's really good. He'll play first. We got McLaughlin, who's also a professional hitter. He didn't play a lot last year. He tore his meniscus, I think, in his knee. But once he came back, he's like an automatic barrel or quality AB every AB. Yeah, I feel like the hitting side of it won't be our struggle at all. I feel like defense, we're going to really have to focus up. Defense has kind of been off and on this fall. We didn't have a great day today. Defense, most of it was just pop flies, but I mean, the lineup's going to be good. The defense is going to be our main focus, I think, of improvement from now till the season for sure.
Yeah, and no doubt at the end of the day, pitching wins championships, right? Obviously, you see like the home runs that won last year in Omaha, but Chris, what was it? It was obviously for LSU, it was the arms that showed up, right? Like obviously, people are going to pay attention to the white and below so hits, but we were holding teams to 2 or less runs. That's the ultimate reason that happens. And so, at the end of the day, I'll always, value pitching over hitting. And so if you got a premium, set of pitchers like that, you got depth in your bullpen. That'll be what's winning for you. And I'll tell you this to make you feel good. I've got it narrowed to 4 teams since we started this show. I'm bragging right now. 3 for 3. The receipts are on Twitter. Preseason, I have picked the national champion every year, and I've got it narrowed to 4. And right now, it's really close to 2, just because I'm homering LSU, and then for some reason just got Tennessee in the back of my mind. But really, it's just between Wake Forest and Arkansas for me. And so I'm just going to tell you, Peyton, if I pick y'all gonna win it. So like it's just going to happen. So just keep your fingers crossed. I do it.
All right. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting.
I may have a little bias towards Brady Tiger. I mean, you see all the LSU posters right behind me, right?
Yeah.
Well, right here next to me, there's a Brady Tiger poster. He was the first non-LSU poster going on the wall. I had to. That's my boy. But
Love
anyways,
Brady.
Chris, you got anything else before I play this game that you want to ask them about Arkansas so we can get to intel, get it back to our guys?
Nah. I love the scouting report. You did a great job. You did a great job. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
no, we look forward to it. I am going to be there. I got a couple series I'm going to watch you guys play. Got to get out to Bomb. I actually did not get out to Bomb last year. I went and watched y'all in 3 different series. I went and saw y'all. Let's see. I went and saw you at the College Baseball Showdown in Arlington to start the season. Saw y'all in Baton Rouge and saw y'all in Starkville. So I saw y'all plenty, and then I saw you in Hoover. So I just saw you everywhere but where it goes down. And so I got to get out to Bomb because that place is obviously rocking.
Sure.
But too bad it's just going to be with LSU coming into town and winning. But that's a whole nother story. All right. So the game is called This or That, and it is brought to you by our mainline sponsor, Chinook Seedery. Peyton, you ever had Chinook seeds?
I have not.
You have not had Chinook. All right. Well, I'm going to fix that, bro.
Out.
That's not his fault. They haven't really took over this region. They're in the LSU dugout, so it's kind of not fair. But Peyton, I will fix that. I will make sure you get some seeds, and that way
Sounds
you can
good.
get back to us what the best flavor is. But nonetheless, it's brought to you by Chinook Seedery. They are the official sponsor of USA Baseball. As a matter of fact, your boy Hagen Smith should have some because he is a ambassador for them. But this or that, you get 2 options, one or the other. You can't say either. You can't say both. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
What's your favorite game?
Man, me and my buddies just started playing the new PGA game, and we've been playing that for hours, just running it.
There's definitely some money on those holes.
Oh,
no
yeah.
Definitely.
I had to look back. Yeah, Nate Dome from Mississippi State, the pitcher. I was trying to think I had to think for a second who was our one of our guests last week. He said that too. He's on that game. Anyway, I told him, does it get serious? And he said, yeah, man. And I was like golden tea in a bar, you bet money serious, Chris? And he was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
It gets serious real quick.
All right. Are you somebody who would prefer breakfast, like a big breakfast plate for breakfast, or would you rather have breakfast for dinner?
Oh, man. Breakfast for dinner. I have to end the day on a good note.
The last few guys have let me down. They said breakfast for breakfast. What's the one mainline item that has to be there?
Waffles.
Ooh, that's a good one. Usually it's bacon or eggs. He went waffles.
Right.
I love me some good waffles.
Carb loading before dinner.
Oh, yeah.
For bedtime.
I like anytime there's a different answer. I feel it. Bro, hey, you know what? That whole before dinner, the other night, Ty Floyd was talking about, Chris, I don't know if you got a chance to watch Pros and Joe's episode 2 yet. He said the night before he went out there and dealt 17 Ks, him and Joe Bear had an extra large Papa John's pizza and a thing of cookies.
Oh,
and then he went out there and threw 17 Ks.
17 Ks.
Bro, my stomach would have hurt, especially on that stage. Yeah. I'd have had the BGs, bro, let alone be able to pitch good. But hey, whatever works. All right, this is always an interesting one. All right, you're stranded on an island. Your option is to be stranded all alone or with your worst enemy, so you got somebody there. Which one are you picking?
Worst enemy, I feel like even if it's your worst enemy, I feel like having another person there betters your chance of survival. So I'm gonna go worst enemy. We'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
We're trying to survive.
I don't want to be alone. I'll argue with you and we'll survive together. All right. So since you got to go to both last year, which stadium and environment, so not just facility itself, but and environment, which stadium and environment was more impressive to you? Alex Box or Duty Noble?
Alex Box.
Only one right answer. Thank you.
I love that answer. You don't think I'm going to cut that clip and put it on Twitter later, Chris, you're wrong.
I'll give it to you. I mean, it was unreal. I didn't even play. I was just sitting there and I was like, wow.
LSU had Arkansas and Tennessee back to back, dude. That place was nuts. Back to back weekend.
Were y'all number 1 at the time?
I can't remember.
I think we were. Yeah, we were.
I
Still
think
number
it
one.
were against us for sure, and it was bumping.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
fall off number one, I think, until
State. Probably State.
no, State was later. We fell before that because Wake took it over. We
Okay.
lost to Kentucky, South Carolina, and Kentucky, the consecutive series. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But I have to bring this up. I hate to reference the Pros and Joe's episode again, Peyton. But dude, the best dagger was thrown by Ty Floyd to Paul Skeens. And it has to do with your teammate. So we were talking about how Cincinnati had drafted Rhett Lauder, him, and Hunter Holland. And he was like, of course. I mean, you could not have made better picks. He starts talking about Rhett, and then he goes, I mean, Hunter Holland, I mean, Paul, he beat you twice. I mean, does there get a better pick than that? And I was like, dang, did he just do that to him? And I was there for both of them. It is a fact. The man lost 2 games, and they were both to Arkansas and Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter had his number. What can you say? Would you rather own a massive yacht or your own private jet?
Private jet. I mean, you can go anywhere with it. Private.
I go anywhere with my yacht. It just takes longer, bro.
I'm going yacht. I would go with the yacht. I think
I'm a water guy. It's all preference, but yeah, you can't go wrong with either answer. That's the thing.
Yeah.
All right, this is the money question. This is the hard question. This is what we end on. All right, so Peyton, I'll walk into your room right now. I got a duffel bag. It's got $1 million cash, and I put it there, and then right next to it, I put a national championship ring. What do you want, man? $1 million?
I'm taking the ring. I'm taking the ring in a heartbeat.
No doubt, bro.
I'm taking the ring in a heartbeat.
Hey, you're not the I mean, there's been a few that have said, get it back. No surprise, Chris. Brock Wilkin goes, man, that I had such a salty taste. He goes, man, give me that national championship. Tommy Hawk comes right behind him. He says, give me the damn bag. Like, he was like, man, he did not care about championship. He wanted the money.
Forget that, man. You can't replace them championships, man.
No, you can spend that money in a year. That championship will be remembered for a long time.
Yeah, it's I rephrased it for the guys because they had just won the national championship. And so when you ask it like this, check this out. So you rephrase it and you say, lose all so think about how much money Skeens and Ty Floyd just made. I said, lose all the money you've earned this year or lose the memories you gained. Now that changes perspectives, but they both still said keep the memories. And I said, Paul, you just got a $9+ million signing bonus. You just tossing it all away. He said, yep.
Yeah, that's a solid answer.
They ain't got kids yet. I'm telling you, right? Chris, don't even you feel me on that. I mean, I need some.
Bro, I got bills to pay, but I will say this though. Like, we have some alumni thing on Friday at LSU, and Peyton knows, and Jim, you've been around enough, a million of these kids over the past couple of years. Like, them dudes are your brothers for life. You can't replace those guys. And so, but we do have bills to pay, Jim. Tuition to pay.
Chris, if I offered you money for that national championship ring of yours, you ain't giving it up.
Yeah, because I got another one, bro. I got 2, so you can.
Well,
have
I want them both. I want them both. I mean, I meant
He don't
both.
give up one. He ain't giving them up both.
I
so
give
$1 million for both of them. We ain't talking.
Nah, bro. Oof, I do need $1 million. No, I'm gonna keep the rings, bro.
Well, hopefully, Peyton. Even though we're LSU guys, I don't root against anybody who comes on here. So, man, I hope that you do get your ring. Obviously, like said, Brady, Hagan, all those guys are guests. So, obviously, it means a lot of guys that are good dudes are able to do that. So, it'll be best of luck to you this season. Do you have anything you want to plug or promote before you get off here? You have any merchandise or anything like that?
I don't. I'm gonna start getting into trying to get some merch for the season for sure. But as of right now, man, I don't.
Well, I will message you when this episode's done. I will make sure you get a poster like Brady Tiger and Hagen Smith from the Athletic Collection. They're one of our many sponsors. Get you a poster out there. Put you up on my wall next. I'll put you next to Brady. But with that, man, your IG for anybody who wants to follow you, if you don't mind, is it's Peyton C. Holt. And obviously, Razorback BSB, man, y'all have one of the best, creative teams, man. The content is great. And being able to see, like I said, I wasn't there today. I was still able to see all the bombs. I was able to see the celebrations, the fun amongst the guys. And so, if you're not following Arkansas BSB or Razorback BSB on Instagram, do it. Go check out Peyton, be able to follow him. But, Peyton, we appreciate having you, man. It's been a blast.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was fun.
All right. So if you
for
like
having me.
hearing Peyton's story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter, listen and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Next episode is actually Pros and Joes with Chase Dolander and Andrew Lindsay, followed by our next IOTV episode. We're staying in Fayetteville with superstar gymnast from Arkansas, Reese Droder. But in the meantime, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.